Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of Cooking with the Carols. We are here today doing paleo hot cross buns because it's almost Easter and we make these every year. We've got celebrity chef Izzy here helping out today, and she's the official taster. So over the years, as I do various trials with my paleo hot cross bun variations, there's many out there. You may have a favourite already, but if you don't, this one is so simple and delicious. So I'm going to run you through what you need and then actually make them for you today, and you can see what they look like at the end, including the crosses. Making the crosses is a nice important bit to kind of see how easy it is to still be able to have an authentic cross on a paleo bun. All right, so we have got almond flour, almond meal. You'll need 2 cups of that. You will need coconut flour, half a cup. You'll have maple syrup or honey, you can choose. So make sure it's 100% maple syrup, not maple flavoured syrup, full of lots of nasty artificial sweeteners. So you can choose that, which I do prefer to use. You can use honey as well. Another option, which I must admit I haven't, because I haven't had this prior to this year, but Lakanto keto-friendly maple syrup, because it's sweetened with monk fruit, is amazing. You can get it online, so I'm going to do a batch this year trialing that one, but my usual go-to is maple syrup itself, 6 eggs and butter, so 250 grams. If you possibly can get a grass-fed variety, Lewis Road Creameries is the one that we usually get from Woolies. Amazing to have a grass-fed option. Otherwise, maybe try an organic or something like that, or anything from New Zealand, mainland, for example, as far as mainstream brands, mainstream, because they've got so much grass over there, so it's generally pretty foolproof. Granny Smith apples, so green apples, you need 2 of those. And what are we missing? Sultanas, so 3/4 of a cup. And then I think we're just down to the spices, so the cinnamon and the nutmeg. You'll have 3 teaspoons of cinnamon and 2 teaspoons of nutmeg. For the crosses, you're going to need about a tablespoon of tapioca flour and about a tablespoon of coconut flour and water. And you'll make that into a paste and use a little Ziploc bag or something like that with an end chopped off to easily pipe on the crosses. So we're going to get our ingredients ready and come back to mix it up.
So we've measured all our ingredients and now it's time to mix them. Correct.
All right. So honestly, you can just ditch it all in. It's so easy, but we will just throw in the 6 eggs first and give them a quick whisk. Do that bit really quick, darling. And you know, I'll throw in the rest of the liquids first, but it doesn't really have to go that way. That's 250 grams of melted butter. Actually, it's still pretty hot. I'm going to risk it. And then the maple syrup. So there's 1/4 of a cup of that, which I'll probably spill. No, I have successfully transferred that one. And then we've got 2 cups of almond flour or almond meal. Cool. We get there, darling. Do you want to add the 2 cups of grated Granny Smith apple? Not 2 cups, sorry, 2 apples. 2 apples worth of 2 Granny Smith apples. And 3/4 of a cup of sultanas. And then we've got half a cup of coconut flour, 3 teaspoons of cinnamon and 2 teaspoons of nutmeg. Then you can start giving that a stir carefully now.
Honestly, you don't even need to use a blender. You can just mix it with a wooden spoon.
That's exactly right. Good. Just be careful it doesn't all fly out of the bowl, of course, but you're doing a great job there, darling. So I'll just finish that. Do you want me to give you a little hand?
Yes.
Cool. And then we're just going to mix them into bowls and pop them straight onto the tray. Okay, here we are, having mixed up our lovely dough. It's not quite a dough because this is a paleo recipe. We're grain-free, so the usual things that bind and that are used that are actually inflammatory and things that we don't want in our body, that make it more of a dough that you'd roll into balls. It's certainly not going to be like. And hot tip, if you find it can just be a little bit different each time you make it, depending on even just the size of your apples and stuff like that. So if you find that it's just a little bit runnier than you think it will hold together on the tray in a blob, just add maybe a tablespoon or 2 at the most of coconut flour again, stir it through and just let it sit. You might have noticed already, the coconut flour, when you use it with things, it takes a little while for the moisture to be kind of pulled into it, absorbed is the official word. So we're going to get ready to pop it onto the tray. I use a different spoon for that, and it literally will be kind of like a blob. This recipe is actually recommended to use a muffin tin, so you can, but I like my hot cross buns to not be muffin tin shaped. I want them to kind of look like the real deal, so I'm happier that we kind of blob it onto the tray. So with regard to the crosses that we'll show you piping on in a minute, I've got here, I sort of doubled the mix that they recommend just so that I've got some spare ready to go. So that's 2 tablespoons of coconut flour, 2 tablespoons of tapioca flour, and then what's important to remember when we mix this up with water?
You pour it in slowly and you use a little bit at a time.
That's exactly right, because otherwise you will end up with this runny, crazy slop that does not stay on as a nice cross when you use the little piping bag. So I'm going to just mix that up now, and the next thing you'll see is me piping onto dough. Okay, so here we are about to pipe on some crosses, hoping that I've got the consistency right and it's not just going to run straight off. We will soon see. So you only need to, this is a Ziploc bag, I've popped my cross piping mixture in there. Don't cut the end off too much, make it smaller rather than bigger at first, because otherwise you will end up with absolutely enormous crosses. Done that before. So they're going to kind of go like this. I reckon we've chosen the right amount of water, darling. Do you think?
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Won't bore you watching paint dry while I do the rest of the crosses. But I'm going to pop these in the oven now, which you will have put on to 180 before you started the mix, and I will show you when they pop out shortly. All right, we're ready. We're taking them out of the oven right now, and I think I'm just going to save them in time. They're looking a little toasty. Turn that off. But oh yes, just caught them in time. Hope you can see those. Oh, they've come out quite nicely. Let me just, careful darling, I don't want to burn you or the bunny. All right, here we go. So beautiful. You can see obviously they're fairly hot, quite flat, and obviously the firmer your mixture is, you're going to be able to create them into a bit of a more of a dough ball type shape. But ours look like this almost every year. I'm just going to cut one in half, even though they're absolutely hot out of the oven, so that you can see. It's obviously a little better to cut them once they've cooled just a little bit. They're probably going to hold together a bit nicer, but this will show you that even straight out of the oven, I've cut it on a terrible angle, but you can see how beautiful that is, and probably the steam coming off. Yeah, perfectly moist, beautiful texture, and that with butter on, unbelievable. And little Miss Taste Tester here is gonna no doubt devour one right now. I wait until Good Friday. Obviously it's up to you what you do, but Nosy never does. But give them a crack, guys. I hope you enjoy them, knowing you're doing something good for your insides, continuing to protect your immunity without inflammatory foods, and getting to enjoy the beautiful seasonal indulgences that we get to have at various times of the year. without feeling like you have to miss out because we choose whole foods. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back with many more things from Cooking with the Carols. Thanks guys, bye.